What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the stream? Thank you for stopping in. 9:30 on Japan time. Let's see what it is. It's 8:30, hour before open. We just had some PPI news. Let's see how she goes in the 30 minutes after the news. Yeah, we're gonna just wait. Let's see. $3K in buy side taken for the day. Just had a little pop up during the news, grabbing 200 in buy side here. And yeah, kind of got like a B profile here coming up off the volume point of control. Just spiked, hit some character up at 710. And yeah, that was a 510 pop up in buy side there, and could kind of refuel. It's been doing those 500 pops, refuel, pop, refuel. How much of a refuel do they need? Buyers in control until otherwise. All right, let's go get a drink in the headphones because I can't hear myself talk right now. So welcome to the one viewer that is watching. Thank you. There you go. I will be right back. What's up, everyone? What's up? What's up? Going to get a drink. I'll be right back. Oh, yeah. We gas the flow like Yokushi blow. All right. Let's see. Mm-hmm. How's everyone doing today? Waiku, comma bounce, big profits in the house. In the house. Alright, we're just gonna play games to watch the... Yo, what's up? See how the PPI absorbs it, the news. What's that?
Cole said it was an army of a caching. What will happen to
How are we supposed to do our duty when the hills are crawling?
Clive? But if you're here, where the hell is everyone else? Don't tell me. They're all right. But it's a long story.
Say what? A typhoon?
You lot don't do things by halves, do you? But at least everyone's still breathing.
Huh.
As for these writings, I'm sorry to say, Clive, but if you had those, you'd be... sitting under a pile of rubble, I know. But we were able to save a few bits and pieces from the ruins, most of which ended up being used to build this
Is it
place.
a bit early for a typhoon?
The next of kin. In the case of Sid's things, that would have been mid. Then I'll check the workshop.
Yep. The Very Honest.
If Amber and the Lazarus are gone, then... Do you think Lid's ship will have the same?
Yeah, it's starting to warm up. I rode my longboard to work today.
This looks like it's from Sid's old diary. But you'll already have read it. I'd better keep looking. What do we have here? Sid's pipes. Something tells me Mid won't be needing these.
We've had no word from Canva for days. Please tell me Mid is all right.
I remember seeing this doll in Sid's cellar.
I've only been to Japan, surprisingly. Oh no, I went to Guam one time actually.
What's this tucked inside it?
It was like a vacation for a couple days.
Sid's best invention. That sounds promising.
Guam was kind of weird because it was like basically like developed around the touristy area, and then
Perhaps Otter might know.
we I remember taking like a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, and then if you start to wander outside the hotel, it starts to get really sketchy. Like out of the zone where all the shops and everything are. And it was like getting like kind of shady actually. Like as you reach the outskirts, there's all these like places for like triple X theater and like, you know, shoot a gun, like go shoot some cows. And you're like, wait, what? Like I guess people would go and like pay for guns to go shoot animals or something. Like shoot a machine gun at some livestock. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the hotel now. Yeah, it was like I felt like I was gonna get mugged if I kept going. It's like I've seen enough. I think it's but the touristy area has all like Louis Vuitton and blah blah blah. It's like has all those
You wouldn't happen to know what Mid's first
like
opus
what do you
was?
call it? Those resort
Opus?
shops,
That
those
girl's tone deaf as a
boutiques.
banshee. Unless you mean the orchestrion. She couldn't have been more than what, 11, 12 when she cobbled that thing together? It surprised us all. Not least her dad. You should have seen how proud he was of the little scamp. What's that battered old box have to do with anything? I think Sid may have hidden something inside it.
Is the what?
Wouldn't surprise me. Those two and their bloody treasure hunts. Half the things in the hideaway were hidden one time or another.
How are we supposed to do our duty when the hills are crawling with a cat? Checking the valleys are full of ether. How indeed.
Yeah, with social media and video games and just everything existing online, it's just how do they maintain? Like I went to a what is it? Like an electronics store, like a big department type electronics store. And then I wanted to buy an iPad Pro, and I was like, okay, I want the new iPad Pro. And they were like, we don't have it. They had the store floor model, but then they didn't have the thing. And they're like, we can order it. It'll be here by Monday. And let's just say it was like a Friday. But then I checked online and I could buy it on Amazon and it would be there tomorrow. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, what's your price? And they said the same price, or if not more expensive. And I was like, never mind. And I just went home and ordered it. I was like, yeah, this is why.
Cole said it was an army of a
And they had like
What
10,
will happen to
15
maybe
staff
others?
there, you know, and it was just like, where are you guys getting your paychecks from if nobody's buying? Yeah. It's like that type of deal. Yeah, exactly.
Knowledge you seek, we've tomes of plenty to guide you in your search.
Wow, that's... Yeah, I would say so.
I didn't break it. Well, I didn't break it.
What didn't you break?
Nothing. We didn't break nothing. We definitely didn't break the orchestra.
Yeah, Hawaii is like interesting because you have the locals and they were there first kind of deal.
Except
And then they're like doing the shuttles from the airport and everything. And like doing the odd end jobs in restaurants and stuff for all the rich
no,
Americans.
we just wanted to listen to all the songs at once.
And you feel
So we
kind of
pressed
this
all
like
the
class
buttons. Like
kind
this.
of existence.
See?
Right, out of the way.
Yeah, I went to Maui, Kona, and what was the other more recent? Lahaina? No. Lahaina? No.
Something caught.
No, that Lahaina was, yeah, that was where I stayed in Maui. No, it was,
Can you fix it?
fuck, I can't remember.
No, I mean,
It was like a
yeah,
tropical
yes.
island. It was all like rainforest and stuff.
There.
Kauai, yeah, there you
How
go.
about now?
Yeah,
You
that
fixed
was the
it.
third
Sid
time I went
fixed
more
it.
recently last year.
He
Yeah,
more
with
than
like
fixed it.
with a
Yeah,
volcano and
new
stuff
music.
and coffee.
Huh. Never heard this one before. They started playing when I removed this.
Yeah, Kona
Whatever
was
it is.
very like you had the timeshare that my mom had with where we all met up, and then you had
Well,
like
don't look
the
at me.
boardwalk kind of place with all the restaurants and shops and stuff, but it was like that's
Sid
it.
showed it to me once.
And
He
it's
said
like
as
there
much.
was only like
Said it
10
was
people
the stuff
max at the
dreams
beach
were
at
made
one
of.
time. It was like really private.
Let's just hope it's the stuff ships are made of as well. Indeed.
Maui was more like resort
Let's see if we
and
can make
just,
some
but
dreams
even then
come
it was
true.
still private. Like you had like 30-40 people in the area we were at, but it was like you couldn't get anywhere without a car. Like you had to rent a car. But yeah, I stayed one day in Honolulu just to see what it was like, and it was kind of like Guam. It's like a tourist trap, and it was just filled with Japanese people, and it was like kind of like a city and overdeveloped and just crowded. And the
Just the
beach
two I was
itself
looking
was just
for.
filled with people. I was like, why
Right.
would anyone want to
Prove your
stay
patience.
here? Like, you just get on a
Actually,
plane
yes.
and go to
The
the
Crown
private
Prince just
place. And
left.
I doubt,
The
like, if you're gonna
left.
drop all that money, you
Unless
might
you've
as
another
well
word for stood up and walked off. Yes, left. He
like
did
go
have the
to the
decency to leave a
private
message with
areas.
Obelisk before commandeering one of his dinghies. Should we go after him?
No. We're not the prince's keepers. He's free to do as he sees fit.
I'd rather he did so in bed. His wounds are nowhere near healed. Much like yours, I suspect. Otto told me
What,
what
to
happened in
rent a
Canva.
car?
What is it with this realm's princes and their aversion to rest?
Ah,
Ask me when I get back. Though I may be sometime.
Then
it
at
went
least try to
down,
stay
or
safe.
I can't at the
But
moment.
if
I'm
that fails,
kind of in the
try
middle of
staying
something.
alive, eh? Every moment I waste here, the further the
People
flagship
cashing
sails.
out, I guess, or just
Have to
not
get back.
renting. Ah, I see. Avis.
She can't kick. Glory to Griga. There you are. And not a moment too soon.
What's happened?
Taya's busy working herself into an early grave. Since the arrival of her latest patient, she's refused to stop, even for a moment. I've tried offering
Damn.
to see to him in her stead, but she won't hear of it. Clive, she hasn't left the infirmary in days. She's pushing herself too hard. And if she doesn't rest soon, will you talk to her?
GameStop
Order
or
her to
whatever.
her chambers if that's what it takes. Because if she keeps this up, I fear the hideaway will be without its best physica before too long.
It always seeks the most liquidity, wherever that is.
Oh, thank you. I pray you have better luck than I did.
Talia. Rodriguez worried about you. And if what he says is true, then so am I. We all admire your dedication, but you do need to rest.
I will, when it's time. Until then, I'm staying put. We owe him that much.
Who is he?
Someone from my past. Someone who doesn't deserve to die alone. It won't be much longer. The crystal's curse has almost finished its work. If I had the tears, I could ease his passing. But without them, we've nothing that will touch the agony of those last few hours.
How would tears help this man?
Not my tears. Tears of mercy. Alicia, it's the only thing strong enough.
You wouldn't, Talia. Surely. There must be something we can do for him.
Sometimes an easy death is the greatest kindness we can offer. You do well to remember that, Rodriguez.
I will. We have all
That's
the
cool.
ingredients we need for Alicia Balwam. It needs to be fresh, though, so we rarely have much to hand. I can make the draft if you can bring me what we're
Sounds like the name
wait.
Century sounds familiar.
It's a species of venom-weeping spider that lives in the forests of Norvent, near Lorbert's Pass. Bring me one of their eyes. Preserve it as best you can.
Are you allowed to
Avoid
drive
contact
with
tears.
the
I'll
thing
make sure
flipped
the other
like that?
ingredients are ready
I think
before we
Japan
return.
has like a rule against doing imported ones, but maybe not.
Thank you, Clive. I won't forget this.
Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. Oh, nice. Yeah, you can ball in style.
Cole said it was an army of Akashi. What will happen to me and the others?
Well, did you solve the mystery?
It was as you thought. The children had the scales, or the parts of them at least. They dismantled them to see how they worked.
Oh, no, Mid will have my head.
Thankfully she won't. This might even have been her idea. Although I was the one who ended up teaching the lesson.
I'm so sorry, Sid. I know how busy you are. I shall see that the children are properly punished.
Please, there's no need. Mid seems to have taken the three of them under her wing. She's even calling them her heirs. She'd have them follow in her footsteps. And her father's.
I see. Sid, do you know why Mid has been spending so much time at the hideaway of late?
She told me it was because her studies have been interrupted by events in Canva. Is that not true?
No, it isn't. The university offered her a commission. In exchange for full tuition, room and board, they asked her to oversee the design of several new war engines.
Do we have any other
To anyone else,
news
it would be an opportunity.
today?
But to Mid, who lost both her parents to war, it was a bitter pill. One she was none too keen to swallow. But that should come as no surprise. She's only ever cared about bringing people hope. the very last thing war can be said to do.
Which explains her heirs. She's working to give them a better life. And so should I. What's the odd engineering lesson?
Oh, you've given them far more than that, and I'm sure they're very grateful.
PPI.
Let me help. I know my letters. Most of them anyway.
Very well. The more eyes we have pouring over these tomes, the sooner we'll find answers.
If it's knowledge you seek, we've tomes aplenty to guide you in your search.
He's a surly soaker.
The realm's crops are all being harvested early.
Sid, do you recall the flowers I had you bring back to the yard?
Vaguely. Is something wrong?
I'm afraid so. I was able to get most of the Morganbeards to take root, but they rarely flower. I fear the soil here does not agree with them. However, I believe I have a solution.
I can't wait to hear it.
I'm going to marry the Morganbeards with Morbles. I know, but hear me out. Morbles are possessed of a highly choleric temperament. The fire which drives them appears to be maintained by an abundance of nutrient-rich ether drawn from their environs. I believe that by grafting a Morble vine to a Morganbeard, the appendage's wealth of vigor-inducing nutrients might well stimulate the flower to bloom. The endeavor, I assure you, is scientifically sound. I simply need a vine to prove the theory.
And all you need is a single vine from an ordinary Morble.
That is correct. A single vine. As for the Morble, I fear ordinary may not suffice. But, as luck would have it, a most extraordinary specimen is rumored to haunt the swamps of Rosaria. Why, a notice concerning this very creature was only recently posted on the hunt board.
How timely.
Well, I shan't keep you any longer. I know you have much to do, as do I. Now, where did I put my watering can?
I'll be taking you all to a storehouse in the Bales. Leave anything you don't need behind.
You know what you have to do. Clive, I fear that I must bid you farewell. As you know, our time grows short. The Lord Chief Justice's vultures are circling. We must strike now. Before we part, I want you to know that, though I may not always have been your most vocal ally, I trust you, as I trusted your predecessor.
Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment, and I understand more than anyone how you feel. And is revenge really the answer?
It is the one I found, and it is all that I have lived for since that day.
But what of Lostwing? Everything you've built.
I built Lostwing to achieve this aim. Once it is done, the village will have served its purpose. My comrades and I are sure of our cause, and we shall fight to the last, come what may. But There are those among us who cannot fight. Children, the elderly, bearers afflicted by the curse. I would place Lostwing in their hands, if I thought it would do them any good. But a village home only to the frail and the infirm is not likely to stay a safe haven for long. And so, Clive, I find myself turning to you once more. Will you take them to your hideaway, that they might live even should Lostwing die?
I will.
Thank you. I will not have it said that I did not see to the well-being of those who rallied to my cause. The people I speak of have withdrawn to Gotan's Bales, away from danger in case the Black Shields strike.
Understood. I'll make sure they get to the hideaway safely.
Then the last of my preparations are complete. Fare you well, Clive. And may Griga guide us. All of us.
To Gotan's Bales then, and quickly, before anyone else finds them.
If you're ready, we leave at once.
My children.
I know you're all afraid, but now is not the time.
Ready, go?
Faster!
Straight home now. His spiders would be the size of curls.
It's over! Almost killed!
Hopefully one won't be enough. Rodrigo will prepare the other ingredients by now.
There were ghosts at the gates not days ago.
You needn't fret. The creatures have been...
To the meadows, then.
That's what the cat...
Over here!
Said I should be able to find what I'm looking for somewhere nearby. Bright blue dragons and bright yellow flowers. Should be easy enough to spot. This must be our wyvern. You're right. Let's get this over with. That's the wyvern's liver. Now I just need to find the herbs. Bright yellow with a heady scent. I think that's everything Molly needs to resurrect her recipe. Better head back. This isn't at all foreboding. Everyone, Quinton has asked that you come with me. He can no longer guarantee your protection, but I can. There's a safe place I can take you to.
Well, if that's what the Master thinks best. Sid, none of us would be standing here today if it weren't for Master Quinton. We owe him our lives. So we ain't about to start telling him what he should do with his. If he's saying we ain't safe in Lostwing no more, it's because he ain't coming back. But if that's what has to happen, then so be it. I only hope he can see this through to the end. That we get to see justice done.
I hope so too.
Oi! You lot! Where's everyone? They ain't already left.
They've gone with Master Quinton.
Fuck! The justice. We have to get the attack. It ain't just the black shields protecting the place. He's got a guard dog and all. A fucking monster. They don't stand a chance against that thing. If I don't get the message to them, they're all gonna fucking die.
No. We can't let this happen. Sid! Don't worry about us. You've got to catch up with him. We can't let Quinton die before that bastard does.
All right. I'll do what I can. Where is this manor?
It's way over to the east, through the woods. Heaven Hall, he calls it.
Promise us, Sid. Promise us you'll do what you can.
Yeah, Tio's on the last chemo for today, or for his, for a while, I guess.
This one.
Right. We got 9 minutes. Okay, a dragon.
This beast isn't to be trifled with.
Damn, he wrecked me. Yo, yo, yo.
Definitely not to be trifled with.
Yep. It's showtime. We got 1 minute. What's up, book? And we are open. Not a ton to play on. Just waiting to see it develop here. Oh no. Not seeing much of anything right yet. It'll develop, I'm sure. So we've had like a 4K push up in Delta for the day. So far, it's just buyers in control, but no real points to speak of except the news pop up, but wasn't that significant. Lovely. We got like a 300 resting lot at 69.50. That's been there. What is that? It's basically since open. They just cleared it. I wish there would be more, more like, you know, adult about world affairs. That, like, wars are, man. I understand war. We just had a few buyers enter here, like laddered in iceberg buyers of 75, 85, 79, 76, 59, 61 at 732, 736, 742. It's not a huge amount of delta overall, but just watching this develop. If you get That's cool. Yippee-ki-yay. 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 I was like, how was this in? I rode my longboard to work today. That was fun. I'm getting paid on some. I'm getting paid on a short of some buyer exhaustion. I'm trailing it, but gonna probably get hit out $400, whatever. Hit 488 in sell side with that push down. I faded the 733 buyer exhaustion point. Just seeing a lot of blue. Cause we were already 4K on the day, and then we went above the wick of the news, and then I started seeing all this blue circled here at the top, and then I was just waiting for it to go below, and then when it went below 733, I was like, okay. Yeah, or I was looking at it in terms of like this could be like a buyer absorption guy, a 182 candidate that just entered at 717 and it jittered away. So if you're still in the short, this would be confirmation of it possibly continuing. But yeah, it was basically all those guys I was seeing iceberg in 85, 79, 76, 95, and then I was just like, okay, well, they're either shorts getting stopped out so they don't need to squeeze them anymore, or they're buyers buying a top. But either way, it's the theory of reward or punish, and I was looking for those blue guys to get punished, and then when it went below their entry, I was like, okay, I'll bite. Yeah, there was that was also it too, like, ES was going up, and then I was seeing NQ go down, so I was like, "What's this divergence?" But normally divergence signifies some sort of shift, like, narrative-wise. It might not be immediate, but I was like, "I'll take it." But, like, this could be a FU, and then if it goes below 717, that could be the absorption, because you just pulled up into, like, 442 in buy side. So there's no candidates in here, but the entire delta is 470 with that spike up to 750 just now. But yes, it's just short squeezing. Not sure. There's like discrepancies here. I'm just on the sidelines at this point. Seeing what's happening. 5K in delta for the day. Yep. Oh, nice. Yeah, I always I studied color theory and stuff, so that's why I get out of I stay in the cool colors, you know, and not like cool kids, but you have like hot and cold or whatever. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's going moonward. Enable? Enable. Are we at any levels? Let's see. It's pretty bullish overall. Yeah, you're getting more alignment now with ES. You smacked some buyers at the top. I was looking at something else at the time, but we hit about 200 buyers at the top there at 760. We just had 152 seller enter at 738. Let's see if there's some sort of strength of the sellers coming in, or this guy's going to get slingshot. There's no like weird news around the corner or anything, right? Okay. Yes, kind of hit all its resting orders. Let's see what they got up top. Hold up. Yeah, it's kind of fun because based on the context, like the seller 182 that entered at 25,738, the fact that it hit on the bounce up tells me that it's a short, because a liquidated long is hit on the way down, not on the bounce up. Like you get margin called when it reaches your call level, your liquidation level. It's like you don't get a choice in the matter. It's just like, so the person that entered 738 did it when it bounced up, so they would do that. Like, yeah, you wouldn't sell profits on a long on a bounce up if, you know, generally you'd wait for a top. But yeah, it's all contextual. Like, I don't actually know that, but it then tells you that through the intention, if that person, if it goes below 738, then the sellers start to step up or whatever. Otherwise, it's a slingshot, you know, it's like, it's either or. So it's like you pick your narrative on that point and then play accordingly. That's why I try to roll like with no bias about it, because it's like it will do what it will do. Yeah. A lot of times there's empty too. And that's why when I zoom out on a toss and then it color weights it to the context I'm in, I can see those inflection points I circled, and then I can remember, okay, those buyers back here and these buyers here, and now we're back at the buyers that I first shorted. And then if it goes below 737, then it starts punishing those buyers and rewarding that seller. So then the narrative could start to shift there. And then there's the last buyer down at 717 where it really starts to fade for the buyers. So I just took another light short in it, protecting my entry right now. Let's just see how this goes. It's only 5 micros. I'm already up, so it doesn't really matter. Just covering the cost. Ooh, there's a buyer. What is he buying? 194. They're defending. Do I think it's going to absorb? Well, it stopped out my trailing. Whatever. But this looks like absorption fuel. 194 at 727. I just have a hard time, shorting this right now. There's, one, like that defender defended down at 717 too. So there was like 180 lot at 717 that caused the bounce up. So there are times where the buyers do have market strength when they market buy. Yeah. Basically, yeah. And then I just shut off my neocortex in that regard, and I'm just looking at it very plainly. It looks overcomplicated, but it's really not. It's just it's 4 characters, like a passive buyer, a passive seller, and a market buyer and a market seller. And it's the game between those 4 guys. Right now it's fading that 194 buyer, so I went short again. But I need acceleration for this to be real. I'm willing to give back a little bit of what I gained, so. And once it, shit. I was gonna say once it goes if it goes in accelerating in my favor, then I will be able to protect my entry, but I'd like more. All right, that jitter was good enough to protect my entry on. Should keep going, hopefully. No, or not. Accelerate, please. It looks like, because you have accept and absorb. Those are the 2 things. Accept the candidate or absorb the candidate. That's it. Reward or punish. Accept, absorb. And when it jitters against their entry, then I'm like, okay, absorbed. And it's like not my opinion. It's like when it goes below them and it's like retesting the underside of them. I'm like, okay, you're flirting with their entry, but not giving them anything. All right. So let's see it rip. And then so I hide behind those candidates like Pippin on the orc's body. You know, I'm just Pippin. I'm not Aragon, you know. And there we go. And now we're in the dough. This one was a little bit heftier. It was 15 micros, but we're just trailing it slowly. And no, it's going to probably pop up here. It's not like it. Ooh, or not. Yeah. It hit me for 57 bucks in profit, but whatever. Yeah, I like to see the acceleration go, you know. I like to measure it from like a comfort zone, so I'm not physiologically jarred in any way. I don't like that feeling. The physiological change it causes in your body is not why I do this. The money is the only thing. Ooh, it's coming back towards the buyer's favor. So that's where I would like flip my narrative and be like, all right, well, that's why I'm out too. It's like, it's only right. And then like you can be wrong and right at the same time if you just, you know, like I'll let go of it. It's like you don't have to be right. But this could have been the FU, like if you were flat. Like there was a time when Woke was saying, like, I don't know when I get chopped up or whatever, but it's like each moment is a new moment. So it's now, it could have FU'd and retested, and this could be the rip. And I just missed it, but whatever. As long as my read is like right. ES is relatively stronger than NQ here. Yeah. 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 It was, I was like, for me, it's like being able to see a candidate and then know, like, if it does this, it's going to do that. And if it does this, and then like highlighting what's the important candidate in question or whatever. And then being able to get like a pivot point is more important, and then like not. So that like that's why in a toss, when it color weights it, like it cuts out the for me it's cutting out the noise. Like there's a lot of numbers, but I'm not really paying attention to the numbers. I'm paying attention to the like, yeah, I'm sure there's other That was a good little push down to the value area. Pushing to 300 sellers. Yeah, I'm still just seeing the discrepancy between ES and NQ, and it's like, and there's a lot of, it's like a descending channel, like repaint of everything on NQ. So I'm like, yeah, like ES is just like reaccumulating with strength at this high, and then NQ is like trying to test the open range low in this descending channel. It's like, yeah. Little 8K, I do have a video that I made like on Delta and stuff from like 2023, but it's still relevant to like go over what Delta is and whatnot. Here, it was, I wrote the script. It was before there was like, yeah, it was in the beginning days of the whole like AI stuff. So I was like playing around with AI. But that actually was put together by me, and all the stuff done in Illustrator. It was before all of the ChatGPT was good enough. But that goes over like the question, and it'll give you like a little quiz, like what do you think's going to happen here and why? And then it uses a real chart that I traced in Illustrator from like the end of the year in 2024 or whatever, or 2023. Wow, you got a 2000 lot below ES at 69.60 that just spoofed below to try to create support. So they wanted to go higher. Oh, it's gone now. Ah, nice. And there's like one thing that they have where it's like, I was trying to lay it out the other day. Like, if you see a lot of buyers plus side, it's like buyers plus sideways price action equals buyer absorption. And that means downside. And then lots of sellers plus like sideways price action equals seller absorption, and then it means upside. And like you have those ones where it like bursts up real quick and the buyers take control like they did just now, and then you'll see it pull back and hit like a large seller only for a short moment, and it like creates the N and NQ, like the symbol for Nasdaq, and then like the Nike swoosh or whatever, and then like it will pull back in a little B formation, and then that's your slingshot. Like I'll see like a seller candidate and I'll be like, these sellers are about to get wrecked, and then it goes psh, and it just like uses them like fuel, and that's the slingshot because it's so fast. And so there's like different conditions for what the sellers will do in this moment that means somebody's like DCAing into a losing position and they're about to get slingshot to their doom kind of thing. And so, yeah, like the same thing when it's like in an idiot box and then it drops to the downside and you see like a buyer enter, like a large one, you're like, yeah, they just lost the narrative and you're buying here. Like that's absorption fuel. That's a slingshot. And then it goes, and then it dumps on that dude. So it's like there's both sides do the same thing. And it's this, you can wait till it gets out of the range and then wait for the slingshot pullback and then see if there's like a trailing buy that it hits that tags them out or induces a DCA seller underwater, and then you see that guy and you're like, okay, I'm taking this slingshot. So the slingshots are generally more it either happens real quick or it doesn't, so you know, like, to get the fuck out right away kind of thing. Indeed. Yeah. They're back. Dun, dun, dun. Saddler's back with no strength. You just hit like 100 lot at 765 and then previously also 100 lot. So Oh, thanks. Yeah, there's no real volume points control from the past. We just retest like the end of January or the 23rd of January's point of control. And up next is like all the way up at 847-ish. Wow, you just hit a 232 buyer at 777s. Audio. Nothing but up. Doom, doom, doom. All right. This is like one of those long and chill, it looks like. Why am I getting lagged now? Okay. Yeah, it's hitting a bunch of buyers. It hit 394 with that last spike up to 787 after 239 in hit at 777, and now you're pulling back into about 400 in sell side. Not any candidates per se in total, now 500 in sell side. So just kind of like buyer exhaustion here. When the narrative lead person, like let's in this case the buyer's in control, so when they get exhausted, they're just, they've been fighting and winning, and now they're just taking a break. So that's a pullback as exhaustion. So absorption is when it's like in a range and you don't know. And so it's just going the opposite of whatever you're saying. So it's always the opposite of what you say. So buyer absorption means go down, seller absorption up. So technically exhaustion and absorption are the same thing. It's just the context of which who was previously winning. I took another counter trend short off of that 777 fade, but I'm not really trusting this just yet until it gets below those 764 buyers that it double topped at previous to the breakout. If it jitters at 64, I'm gonna put the stop. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that now. Whatever. For what? Ah, bid ask. Bid ask. Bid ask. I like bid ask and I do not lie. And the footprints don't deny. Yeah, I never got that. I remember there was one dude who traded on like the white background thing. Like, doesn't that cause more like energy issues with your monitor? Is it better to look at the white void or the black void, you know? Yeah, I have a OLED. OLED's fun. Yeah. Yeah, that's what these are. They're like blue blockers. They're kind of gaming glasses, but I dig them. My eyes don't get tired. $6K in Delta thus far. Do, 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 do. But I just never got the whole like white background trading style. Like, to each their own, of course, but I just always like dark mode. So my eyes are blue, so they're like sensitive to light. So I'm like ultra sensitive to bright light. You just had 182. That's cool. You just had 162 buyer at 790. You don't see that woke, the 162 guy? That's odd. Where did we... So we're in the in-between here. Reaching up for that 847, perhaps. Who knows? What thing? Right. What is it doing? It's fun. I remember making that stuff back in the day. Getting in that headspace was like super mathematical, and yeah, I'm not eager to visit that anymore. Yeah, it's you went and spiked up into like 600 in Delta to the 817s, and then yeah, every pullback is less and less sellers. So it's getting to the point where it's like pulling back into some sellers, like to at least induce something genuine would make sense. And that was a short I took. And now I'm getting paid. And that was $1,000. There we go. Yeah, it's just a lot of waiting. It's really boring actually, but the end result makes it worth it. Yeah, that's why like I was like looking to counter trend trade it, and it's like I just kept waiting and waiting because I'm like, when's this pullback gonna happen? Then it keeps doing like psych, 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 and I'm just like, I'm not buying it, I'm not buying it, I'm not selling or buying it, I'm just watching. And then I'm like, okay, that one spiked up 600 contracts, and then each pullback is less and less delta sellers. And then I was like, all right, let's give it a go here, you know. When it just triggered a 200 lot seller at 795, and that's when I like trailed it and got out. But you know, this could genuinely rip below that. But it was like when I don't like when I generally play, I was telling Woke, I play one side. Like, I always play counter to what I'm seeing. So if I see a lot of buyers, I want to short. And if I see a lot of sellers at bottoms, I want to long. So, like, when I see candidates on my side, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to be in this anymore. Like the more it becomes like dead weight to my idea. So I want to see, yeah. Generally, I play opposite of the aggressor, but it's like it takes like a thesis and a key level or some sort of like other narrative evidence lining up to. Now it's just like there's a bunch of like inflection points in this area, so I'm getting muddy water here. Like the 200 lot seller at 795, you just had another 131 buyer at 793, so there's going to be some sort of like, you know, idiot box or some sort of thing going on, it looks like, and I'm like, all right, I don't want any of this now. And then I missed that whole grind to the upside, but it's like, I don't know it's going to do that. If I knew it was going to do that, I would have logged the bottom, you know? So it's like, I don't know where the pullback is like, knowing, like, you know, if I'm like, okay, I'll just get in on this slingshot. It's like, I didn't see any slingshot candidates. Like, it pulled back into like 300 delta, but there was no like large player. It was just 300. So I started looking at the delta of each auction of the 2000 tick, and I would see 300 sellers pushed. And then it pushed down into 200 sellers. And then it pushed down into 469 sellers. And it said, nope. And then it pushed down into 143. And I was like, that's nothing. And then finally, just now, it pushed into like 700. So it's like it just kept pushing into buyers, like turning them into buy side. And there was no more sellers entering. So you were reaching the end, it looked like. So I was just like, oh, there's a bunch of buyers down here. At least it could retest these, maybe. What was my entry? It was, I don't recall actually. I think it was like 808 or something. I saw a buyer hit at 817 for 100, and then it pushed up in total in the last 2,000 auctions before, like the last 4,000 trades, like 2,000 ticks, 419 and 213. And I was like, that 213 hit right at the high for 100. I was like, let's try this. It was also ES hit like a resting order at 69.75. So there was not really any older resting orders per se. Like, I mean, that resting order was from down at 69.57. So they hit that, and then there wasn't any older ones. That was the oldest candidate from 69.58. So there was like another narrative on ES gassing out at the same time. You know, it's like I'm not really actively consciously thinking it. You know, it's like a bunch of things happening at once, but this is just me like telling you what I saw at, you know, with like decompressing it, you know. But yeah, like ES was hitting this resting order at like 69.75 that was there, and I was looking at that, like, what do we have to the upside to hit? And it was from that whole consolidation from like, yeah, from the 57s when you were like longing it, whatever. Well, that is enough for me right now. I'm done. Hopefully everyone's good in the hood. Now you're getting more buyers, 141 and 788. And it went below that 793 guy, so looks like you're inducing some absorption fuel to offset that 200 lot seller at 795 they hit. But ES is pushing up stronger than NQ right now. Oof. It's going to be fun. I have my health check on, like my yearly health check on in May, but last May I had a few points that were flagged for being overweight and a few other markers. But it'll be interesting to see their reaction when they're like, "What the?" Because I'm totally different. So they'll be like, "Are you the same guy?" Like, yeah, it's weird, man, honestly. Like, I don't know if I told you, like, during the spring break, I think you were on vacation, but I went to a trampoline park with my daughter and the other kids that I teach for the spring holiday, and they had like a bouldering wall, and you hit the button on the bottom of the wall and then scale it and time yourself, and it's like 3 stories tall, and then I did it in like 12 seconds. So I was like, all right, nice. Yeah. And then there was like this 2-meter wall that you bounce on the trampoline, and most people like use their hands or their arms to like climb up it from the bounce. And then I straight up like got enough air where I just bounced up like Mario with my feet, like boing. And I didn't even know you could do that. I freaked out because I was like, I thought I overshot it and I was gonna like go to the other side where there was like another trampoline. I was like, oh man. And I almost fell off. But like I landed it like I meant to do that, but actually not. But it's just weird to have more mobility than you ever remember having, you know? Like, I'm like, have I ever been able to do this? I don't think so. Nice. It's a good thing to enjoy your time. Gives headroom. What? Yeah, Japanese will like fat shame you. If you gain even a little bit of weight, they'll be like, "Did you get fat?" Like they don't like, yeah. Or if you have like a pimple or something, like, "What's that on your face?" But it's like, "What? Don't you wow." Like there's times where they're very like modest and hospitable, but then they're like regarding appearance and weight, like, or somebody's bald or something, they're just like, nah. And then sometimes they're so ignorant, it's like you can't tell if they're being like overtly like racist or not, because they're like, you can use chopsticks. Wow. I'm like, you could use a fork? Wow. You know, it's like after, you know, in the beginning years, I got annoyed by it, but it's like, it's funny now. I just laugh. But yeah, there's a lot of naive people that just don't have experience with foreigners at all. My company wanted me to like pretend, like, because they want the kids to speak all in English, so they wanted me to pretend I don't speak Japanese. But I was like, after a few years, I realized it was kind of like training the kids to think that, like, what, we're not like smart enough to understand it or something. I'm like, no, I understand everything you're saying. What are you talking about? So I just stopped the ruse of that. But yeah, I could straight up like curse somebody out in Japanese. Like, I have all these things that if somebody says something, I could just immediately retort and make them look retarded. But thankfully, nobody ever messes with me. There was this one lady at what was it? It was like some kids park thing, and you had to empty your pockets. And then I left my credit card in my pocket because I don't trust that the lockers actually lock your stuff. You know, I put my phone, I put everything else in there, but then she's like, "What's this?" And then she like tapped my pocket, and I was like, "Don't fucking touch me." I was like, because she's like, "Did you empty your pockets?" I'm like, "I did." And then she's like, "Well, what's this?" And she like tapped my leg or whatever. And I'm like, "Don't," it was this like old lady or whatever. And I was like, "Don't fucking touch me." And she's like, "Oh, all right, you don't have to ride." And then she like took the harness and like started like how you would grab somebody's shoulders. She grabs the harness around my shoulders. Like, she's like, "I'll show you." And then I was like, "Get your fucking manager right now." And then I got her chewed out by her manager. I'm like, yeah, I was like, no matter what, I'm the customer first. And if I said I did, then I did. You don't get to touch me. And I was like, what if that was my daughter? Like, would you do the same thing? I'm like, no, you wouldn't. So why do you think you can do it to me? Mm. Damn. Ignorant. Naive. Hmm. Yeah, that was so I have this like guard or defense up, and I have like a comedian has like heckler retorts. Like, I have all these retorts ready where if anything happens, I'm like, I know exactly what to say. How do Japanese feel about Latinos? Well, they have a surprisingly like okay, a little bit of history lesson. During World War II, some of the Japanese did not want to fight in World War II, surprisingly enough, like anyone. So they had a exchange, or rather, Brazil allowed Japanese to, you know, leave Japan and come to Brazil, flee Japan to live in Brazil. So you have a lot of like they call them like Nikkei, which means like second generation Japanese, which grew up in Brazil and speak Portuguese fluently, and then they had to have kids and stuff, and then they have this relationship with the government where they let those people who help them come to Japan. So a lot of the factory workers and stuff in like Sony and Toyota and stuff, the area I'm in, like they're Brazilian, and then a lot of them have like permanent residence and stuff, and like there's some sort of like relationship between Brazil and Japan. That's in the area I live, it has the most foreigners per square kilometer than anywhere in Japan. Like not within like it's within square per kilometer, not sheer numbers. Like Tokyo obviously has it beat, but population density percentiles would be less, if you catch my drift. So, but in terms of square kilometers of percentage, it has the most where I'm at. And I think a majority are Latino actually, or Brazilian or whatever. So, and it's weird because the area I'm in, they actually sent the message to bomb Pearl Harbor like a few towns over from a radio tower over there. So I'm like, interesting. Like they knocked it down, but you know, I remember at one point it was still there when I first came to Japan, and then I learned like, wow, they sent the message to start the war from here. Yeah, I'm basically in the Detroit of Japan. Like it's where all the stuff is made. Yeah, they make all the cars, they make all the car parts, the combustion engines. The whole industry is propped up by Toyota and Sony. And that's where this is. So it's like without those, this would not be bustling at all. So it's bustling because of the car companies and Sony. But Sony's kind of like, you know, what have they really made in the last like 20 years? So they're kind of not. Yeah, basically. Oh yeah. Yeah, they were a really big thing. Wasn't the PSP like that? Yeah. The idea was cool, and it it picked up here. Like a lot of people used it in their car because you could just have them in your like stick shift area and just like toss them around and put in. Yeah, so they would. I remember riding in a few like Mutec engine, like my friend was into like racing, like GTR stuff, and then he had that in his car, and he would be like putting in artist discs with that, and I was like, oh, okay, I see the application for this. It just didn't catch on in America, you know. Yeah, essentially that's what it was. Delta Force. All right. Yeah, I'll get out of here too. It's already like midnight. Have a good one, guys.